Welcome to DaVinci, where history is brought to light. In today's episode, we explore one of the most significant covert operations of the 20th century, the CIA's secret operation in the 1953 Iranian coup. Did you know Iran was once closely aligned with the West? Since 1946, Iran's monarch, Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi, had embraced pro-Western policies. This alignment turned Iran into an ally of both Britain and the United States throughout the Cold War. How did this relationship collapse? What role did the CIA play in this? Our story begins in the early 20th century, in a rapidly modernizing Iran. The discovery of oil in 1908 by a British company transformed the country into a hotspot of international interest. Specifically, in 1909, Britain established the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company and began extracting oil from Iran. This company later became known as BP. This venture proved highly profitable for Britain, particularly during World War I. The Iranian oil was crucial in powering the British Empire's war machine. Yet, the contracts heavily favored the UK, not Iran. BP's operations in Iran were marred by exploitation and inequitable contracts, painting a picture of imperialistic gain at the expense of Iranian resources and sovereignty. In the center of this geopolitical storm stood Mohammad Mossadegh, a passionate nationalist and democratically elected prime minister of Iran. Mossadegh, with his charismatic leadership and vision for an independent Iran, challenged the status quo. His first objective was to limit the powers of the pro-Western monarch, Mohammad Shah, striving for a more democratic distribution of authority. This move marked a significant pivot towards democratic governance. Secondly, he became a symbol of resistance against foreign domination, particularly against the British-controlled oil industry. Mossadegh's stance wasn't just political, it was a fight for Iran's right to self-determination and resource control. Mossadegh nationalized the Iranian oil industry in 1951. This act was revolutionary, challenging the monopoly of the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company. It was a bold declaration of sovereignty, but it provoked a severe backlash from the UK, which cites economic interests threatened. Britain's response was immediate and severe. The UK could not afford to lose control over its oil interests. They imposed an oil embargo and froze Iranian assets, aiming to cripple Iran's economy. The UK sought American support, initially unsuccessful. The President Truman was hesitant to intervene. However, the scenario changed with the advent of the Eisenhower administration and the growing tensions of the Cold War. The early 1950s were marked by the intensifying Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union. In this climate of global suspicion and rivalry, the U.S. began to view Mossadegh's actions through a Cold War lens. The U.S. feared a potential communist influence in Iran. Under the directive of President Eisenhower, the CIA joined hands with British intelligence to plan a covert operation to overthrow Mossadegh. Finally, the CIA launched its clandestine mission, Operation Ajax. The plan involved intricate strategies including disinformation campaigns, fostering unrest, and enlisting the support of the Iranian military and religious leaders. Central to this plan was reinstating Mohammad Reza Pahlavi as a figurehead to ensure a pro-Western government in Iran. Operation Ajax was executed in August 1953. The first attempt was a failure. On August 19, a second coup attempt successfully led to the arrest of Mossadegh and the return of the Shah to power. Initially, the coup appeared to be a success because Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi reclaimed his throne. However, he was destined to be the final Iranian ruler heavily swayed by American influence. Opinions about Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi vary greatly. Some critics see him as a dictator controlled by the CIA, installed to suppress leftist movements in Iran and maintain the UK's oil interests. Also, his secret police gained infamy for rampant surveillance and brutal torture practices. Conversely, there are those who commend his progressive white revolution. This included sweeping land reforms, the privatization of state-owned enterprises, addressing labor disputes, advancing women's rights including suffrage, and banning child marriage, along with educational and rural development initiatives, all aimed at propelling Iran into modernity. His policies were also geared towards drawing Western investment, reinforced by his pro-American alignment. Nevertheless, the Shah's reforms met with widespread resistance, notably from Islamic clerics who vehemently opposed the White Revolution. This growing opposition led to the 1979 Iranian Revolution, headed by Ayatollah Khomeini. It overthrew Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi and turned Iran from a friend of America into a strong opponent. This strained relationship with the U.S. can be traced directly back to the ramifications of the CIA's covert operation. As we look back, the 1953 Iranian coup stands as a stark reminder of the profound consequences of foreign intervention in sovereign nations. The CIA's operation aimed at protecting Western interests, but it unintentionally created lasting distrust and bitterness towards the West in Iran. This covert action did not just topple a government, it irrevocably altered the course of Iranian-American relations. The once pro-Western Iran, under the rule of Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi, transformed into a staunchly anti-American nation, a shift that has significantly influenced its political trajectory and reshaped its identity on the global stage. Thank you for joining us in this exploration of a pivotal moment in modern history. If you found this insightful, please like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into historical events. Stay curious and keep exploring our shared past.